Welcome to Fantasy Football with the Dork and the Dude.
I'm the Dork.
And I'm the Dude.
Rough week for the Dork last week, a 1-5 against the spread.
Yeah.
Just nothing went right. Don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I think I went 4-2.
Nice work.
Okay, so let's kick it off and just recap there you go, Dork. You paid your penance.
It's just one very uncomfortable mask.
It is. Maybe in the off season you could find a more comfortable one for us.
I may do that.
Check out Temu.
If they're still legal. If they don't throw a bunch of tariffs on their stuff.
They'll just pass it on the consumer.
That's how it rolls.
Okay, so let's kick it off with those Saturday games, Dork.
Chargers. Houston crushed them. They were favored by 3.
That was one of my losses. I had the Chargers.
Yeah, that was a complete surprise. Jim Harbaugh had been a good playoff coach in his previous NFL stint.
Right.
It's speculated the fires had some effect on the Chargers.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Didn't have any effect on the Rams.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, that surprised me, but we chatted about it afterwards, and let's face it, Herbert was back there getting killed. He's got only one really NFL quality wide receiver.
Yeah.
They had no running game.
Mm-hmm.
And Houston D just went off.
Now, do they have an offensive line problem, or is that it?
Well, if you're ending up in 3rd and long, it don't matter what your offensive line's got. And that's where they were at that whole fucking game, man.
Well, if you got a good offensive line, you're not going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, but you have to have people to throw it to.
Yeah, that's true. Well, McConkey had a good game.
He's the only bright spot on that team. They're going to need to get some playmakers in the off season, or they're going nowhere.
That's about it. And Houston stepping up nicely after their season. It looked like they were kind of dead. I had them. If you had asked me last week before the games, what's the worst team in the playoffs?
Yep.
I'd have said Houston. And
me too.
I don't think I'd have been alone. So props to them. And
yeah, no, most of the pros were on the Chargers as well.
Mm-hmm.
That Houston D just took the game over.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the second game? Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Baltimore covered, my only cover of the week.
I had Baltimore.
2-touchdown win.
Derrick Henry unstoppable.
Derrick Henry rolled through him, yeah. That was what I expected, pretty much.
Me too. It went kind of according to plan.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday games. We got first Denver at Buffalo. Denver was +8, and after scoring first, they got blown out 31-7. Yeah, they did. I thought they might, after they scored that touchdown, went up 7-0. I thought they might make it competitive, but they were just outclassed.
Yeah, not a huge surprise. Talent-wise, they're still lacking. They
can't run the ball.
They did a nice job putting a competitive team out there all year. But,
yeah, they did.
Buffalo's elite.
Yeah, they are.
And that showed.
Yep. Denver's another one of those teams that's going to have to get some playmakers, especially at running back.
Yeah.
Okay, next game.
Green Bay +4.5 at Philadelphia. Philadelphia won 22-10.
I had Philly.
Green Bay's 4 turnovers killed them.
Yeah, they did.
And
that Philly D's playing lights out.
Philly probably has the best D in the league right now.
Yeah, I would say so. Baltimore, if they keep improving every week, which they are, they'll be right up there with them.
Yeah, Philly's a legit threat to win it all. There's not much else to say there.
Baltimore as well.
Oh yeah, I know that. You know that. Washington +3. They went into Tampa Bay and won.
Yeah, crucial fumble in the 4th quarter by Baker Mayfield cost them the game. If anything, that game should have went into overtime.
Also, the defense could not stop the Commanders.
Yeah.
They had long, slow drives, and their Tampa Bay defense could not stop them when they needed to.
True, but they scored through punch for punch with them.
Yeah, they did. Fumble was rough, and again, props to Washington. Usually teams that kind of have the whole year go their way.
Yep.
Usually they're
One and
and
done.
done in the playoffs.
Yep.
But they showed up and they played tough, and Detroit's next, and we'll see how that goes.
That was my other loss.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there were a lot of people. I don't think I think yeah. And then Minnesota -1.5 going into LA, and the Rams just throttled them.
A win for me.
Yeah, good one.
I had them. On the spread and the money line.
Yeah, I felt pretty good about Minnesota winning, but Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts again. They put the heat on him, and
I predicted that was going to happen.
yeah, you did. And
I also said that the Rams can flick a switch and go into playoff mode, and that they could be dangerous.
Okay, I think that still remains to be seen.
Well, we'll find out.
We will find out. Yeah.
This weekend.
But beating Minnesota is very impressive. That's they're a good team, and
yeah.
Again, I don't have much to say. I just missed that, and congrats to you and whoever else had the Rams on that. That was a good call. Alrighty.
Well, these games are unpredictable, Dork.
They are. If it was easy,
everybody'd be doing it.
You wouldn't have spent the whole year listening to the experts try and explain away their losses.
That's it. But I felt really good about those Rams going into that game.
Okay. That pass rush was something else.
Yeah, it was 9 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then was that the last game?
That was the last game.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do a little recap of our fantasy football draft and the first week. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
How did you feel about your draft when you came out of it, Dork?
At the time, I felt good, but I knew things had to break my way, and they didn't. I ended up with, I think Baltimore's going to play 4 games, and so I valued their players the most. I ended up with Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore defense, and Justin Tucker.
They still might.
And but that's all I got left, basically, because my other teams were teams I thought had a chance to play 2 to 3 games.
Right.
And that was the Bucks, the Chargers, and the Vikings. And they're all out. So
yeah,
I don't see my chances as being real good right now.
Yeah, I didn't score as many points in the first week as a lot of the other guys in our league and stuff, but that's because I went for guys that I was hoping going to be in the championship game and in the Super Bowl.
Right.
But scoring-wise, Steven had a good week, but he lost a lot of players. He had 79 points. I have 33, didn't lose a player. In fact, out of my whole roster, I only had 5 players going.
And it looks like you're big on Philly, so
I am.
As long as they're in there,
yep,
you're gonna be fine.
Well, and I have a lot of Rams bets, so I'm kind of hedging my Rams bets by going in heavy on Philly. That was kind of my thinking anyway. Then you had 60, but you lost, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, so you're toast.
Oh, yeah.
Brother Bob, he
went all in on Lions, so...
Yeah, so he didn't have a lot of guys going either. He had a small total of 16 points.
He's scary, though.
He is scary.
That roster with
yeah. If the Lions get to the Super Bowl, he's got a good shot at winning this thing. Josh had the highest score for the week, 82. He looks very dangerous.
Okay. Who's his QB?
QB Stafford.
Okay.
Then he's got Barkley, Mixon, Nakua, AJ, Hollywood, Kelsey, Elliott, and Rams all still playing. Hell, the Rams D got him 32.
So he's, but basically he's going to be reliant on the winner of the Rams-Eagles game.
Yeah,
it looks like those are his 2 teams.
Yeah, if he gets a bunch of points out of his Rams guys, and even if they lose, he's still rolling ahead with Barkley.
Yeah.
And then he's got Stafford.
Yep.
Okay, So he went heavy Rams, and it worked out for him early, and he's got a nice lead. Then Nick, he didn't have a lot of players going either. He only had 3 players going in the games, and then Corn Pop.
Well, he had Cup. He had
right, yeah. Cup didn't get him any points, and Robinson didn't. Yeah, so he had 4 players going. They just didn't score.
But he has all his players active still. So
yeah, he didn't lose anybody.
And how'd Corn Pop do?
Corn Pop, he got 20 out of Allen. He's still got Monty to go. He got 8 out of your boy Kieran, and he's still alive. He got points out of Shakir, 12 out of Nico, 13 out of Jacobs, but Jacobs is out. Chargers D got him 12. His kicker got him 11, so he got 78 points there. So, so he's still hanging.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good about my playoff possibilities.
Oh yeah, you should. You should be
at this point
with Hurts and kind of a heavy Eagles.
Yep.
Thing. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, want to talk the games?
Let's do it. There's only 4 this week. Kick it off there, Dorkster.
Okay, Saturday afternoon, Houston plus 8.5 at Kansas City, over under 41.5. What do you think?
Casey hasn't been covering spreads till the last 3 weeks, and 8.5's a lot of points. I haven't bet that game. I might even just stay. It might be a stay away for me. But if I was going to bet it, I would take Houston in the 8.5 just because of their D.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Their D looked real good. Casey is scary, but if you can give me a dork alert here.
Here we go, dork alert.
Oh, God, here we go again, dork alert.
Hope you heard that out there, folks. We've had some technical difficulties.
Anyways, in only one of their past 2 years, Kansas City defending champs.
Right.
Only one of their playoff games would they have covered a 9.5 or an 8.5 spread.
Right.
And that was the freezer game against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing about them. The last 2 years, the Chiefs were top 10 in both offensive yards per play and stopping opponents, opponents' yards per play.
Sure.
Lowest.
Right.
This year, they are 23rd in offensive yards per play and 12th in opponents' yards per play.
Yep.
So this is, despite the record, this is not the same, power they've been.
True.
And maybe they can turn it on. I certainly wouldn't be surprised to...
Well, just like I said about the Rams, they can flick the switch.
Yeah.
They could go out and they could go out and win this game 34-10.
They could. But it's not the same team it's been. It's not the same week to week. They're just not as good as they've been the past 2 years. And that concerns me.
But if you got Mahomes and Andy Reid,
Yeah. And that
defense, people have lost their shirts the last 2 or 3 years betting against the Chiefs.
Yeah, you got that right.
And so that's why I'm setting this one out for now.
The one thing that I think is in Kansas City's favor, you got a dome team going into what's going to be a 23-degree game outside.
Yep.
And that's just never a good thing.
Except that usually cold weather like that affects the offense more than the defense, and Texas is the Texans are relying on their D.
Yeah.
So they might be able to hang.
Right.
At least to cover the spread, maybe a backdoor cover. Let's say the Chiefs are up by 12, 13 points, and there's like 3 minutes left, and the Texans chew the clock, and then backdoor cover.
I like the under. I'm leaning Houston. I'm like you. I don't have a great feel for this game, and that's just because of the respect I have for KC. If this was some, say Denver somehow won 15 games but had the same point differential and per yard or per play numbers KC had.
Right.
I'd say they're a paper tiger.
Sure.
Houston's going to cover, maybe beat them, but
yeah.
This is a total stay away for me. I just said.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing that too.
But you want to pick? I'm going to pick Houston because
I'll take you.
I don't think it's that close.
I'll take Houston in the points, but I'm not going to put hard money on that.
I like the under as well.
I do too. 41.5. Just because of the weather.
And I think it's going to be a defensive battle.
Yeah, I agree. Next game.
Washington at Detroit, indoors, so weather isn't an issue. Also, 55.5 is the over/under.
Highest of the year.
Yeah. The thing, Detroit got extra rest, and
which they needed.
And I can't see them blowing this one. I just think they're going to win it handily.
I do too.
I don't see Washington as being good enough to stick with them, and that's about the story of it. I think Detroit's going to cover.
I do too. And Detroit, the last 2 years, has been the number one team against the spread, and so bettors won a lot of money on them, and they're going to keep going to that well.
They tend to run it up, yeah.
And so, I like Detroit there.
Okay. Any reason to like Washington other than they've played pretty close games against good teams, but they haven't been very good at beating them.
Right.
Except their last two. Their last two games against playoff opponents, they have won against Philly and Tampa Bay.
Well, they're a team with moxie, Dork.
They are.
They don't get blown out,
mm-hmm.
Even though their defense is middle of the pack.
The only game against playoff teams where they wouldn't have covered 9.5 this year is the opening weekend against Tampa Bay, where they lost by 17.
And they're a totally different team now.
Right.
Jaden Daniels is pulling rabbits out of the hat.
Yes, he is.
And so I like Washington there in the points, of course.
Okay, I'm going with Detroit to cover.
Yeah.
Again, I don't have a great feeling about this game. I do like.
Oh, I got to bet on this later. So no, if I had to bet, I would lay the points with Detroit.
And I like the over 55.5.
But I could see Washington hanging in this game.
I could too. I don't see them winning it though, which means bet them on the money line because I have not been.
Well, they would have to do. They'd have to do what they did last week, and that is string together 8-9 minute drives, 15 plays, keep Detroit off the field.
Keep that offense off the field.
Maybe Detroit gets a couple injuries on an already kind of not very deep defense, and they might be able to exploit it. And they're playing with house money. They got nothing to lose. They can go out there and just let it all hang out.
Got that right.
And Jaden Daniels doesn't seem to be spooked by anything.
He's unflappable, dude.
Totally. Okay, next game, Dork.
Rams +6 at Philadelphia.
I'm taking the Rams.
Of course you are. And they do strike me as the kind of team that could pull off the upset.
Yeah, they can.
And
Hurts looked terrible last week. The Rams are going to be stacking the box to stop Barkley, and they're going to say Hurts beat us, and he either will or he won't, is the way I see this unfolding.
Well, with A.J. Brown reading self-help books on the sideline, I think
I'm so sick of hearing that fucking narrative every 10 minutes on these shows and radio and shit. Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? The guy performs like nobody's business when he's out on the field.
The talking clowns need something to talk about.
I wish, I hope the Bears give DJ Moore and Roma Dunze self-help books to read next year if they're going to play like A.J. Brown.
I hear you. If I'm these dumbass pundits and podcast hosts and shit that are talking about A.J. Brown reading the book, you might want to do something constructive and maybe talk about the calls that are missed in these games or botched.
Yeah.
We'd rather hear about that than fucking AJ reading on the sidelines, bitches.
Or follow his example and read a book, Anything. There's a lot to be learned out there.
Anything but the dumbass shit we're hearing out of these people these days, man. Blowing my mind.
Okay, but honestly...
Oh, God, here we go again. Dork alert.
I really don't like this game one way or the other. I'm going with the Rams because I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
You're taking the Rams in the 6.
The Rams in the 6. Philly, they had one of the weakest schedules in the league.
They did.
And the Rams had one of the tougher ones.
Yep.
And that can be something in the playoffs.
And the Rams appear to be peaking at the right time.
They do. I'm not wild about how their offense has been playing.
I hear you.
Down the stretch. And
Cooper Kupp looks washed up.
And they're going against the league's best defense.
I hear you.
I'm seeing a 10-7 game, 13-10.
I see more scoring than that.
That could be, but
I'm laughing at the door.
You're laughing, okay. One of my favorite bets this weekend is the under on this game. That might be my favorite.
I like that bet.
I'm gonna take. In fact, when I get home, I'm gonna throw down on that. And I haven't been thrown down a lot in the past few weeks.
I like it.
Okay, but we're both gonna go with the Rams on this one.
Yes, we are.
Okay. And now the big game, the game of the week in most people's opinion.
No doubt.
Baltimore -1.5 at Buffalo.
I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah, me too.
They're a steamrolling machine.
They're just a better team.
They are.
It's that simple.
And I don't know how Buffalo's going to stop Derrick Henry.
I don't either. They're not great against the run. They're not terrible, but Baltimore runs the ball and stops the ball better than Buffalo.
Yep.
They've passed the ball and stopped the pass, stopping the pass slightly better than Buffalo. They are just a better team, and this, to me, is the easiest pick of the week. Baltimore over Buffalo.
Well, I could see a scenario there, though, if Buffalo D gets a couple of turnovers, maybe a pick six.
Well,
they could stay in that. They can stay in that fucking game. The spread's 1.5, so the books figure it's basically a pick 'em.
Well, and if Buffalo is getting points at home, though, that shows you the respect they have for the Ravens.
No
too.
doubt.
But I could see that if Buffalo starts fast and that crowd gets going.
Yep.
It could be trouble, but
it was bad news for Denver last week.
And again, we're going to see it's going to be cold up there. But Baltimore's an outside team that has played in cold weather a lot.
They don't care about the weather.
AFC North.
No
team in the AFC North is worried about weather.
No,
that's for sure.
Like I heard some dude today saying the weather by game time could be like 10 degrees in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And he said, would you want to be one of those Buffalo defensive players trying to tackle Derrick fucking Henry in 10-degree weather?
And Henry feels no pain. He'll just keep going.
And so there's going to be dudes making business decisions out there in Buffalo.
Oh yeah. Let's see. My contract is up. I'm gonna make a little token effort.
Yeah, exactly. I see Henry having a huge game.
Yeah, I do too. I'd like to think it's Lamar and Tucker kicking a lot of 50-yard field goals and a few defensive touchdowns, but for Baltimore. But Henry. They got Henry to ride during these playoffs.
They got him just for this spot.
Yep. And this is the one I feel confident about. I don't like to say take it to the bank, especially with how I've been doing lately, but take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Well,
if not, I'll have the clown mask on next week.
Yeah. I'm not going to say take it to the bank, but I feel really good about taking Baltimore in this spot.
Yeah, this is the one I feel best about. This one, I also like the over in this game.
Okay.
And like I said, I like the under in the Rams-Philly game. Otherwise, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what I bet already, Dorkster.
Let's hear it.
We only got 4 games, so less to bet. But here's what I got down right now. My first bet was I didn't get the good number, but I bet this game Sunday night as soon as the line came out because I felt so good about it, just like you. I got Baltimore at -2.5. Well, actually, the spread was 1.5 when it came out. I did an alternate lineup to 2.5, saying to myself, if Baltimore wins by a goddamn field goal, I'm going to cover this, and I got +111.
Yeah.
Right now, the number is 1.5 and minus juice, I think.
Okay.
So that's my big bet of the week. Then I said, fuck it, I'm all in on my Rams. I bet them on and taking the +6, and I also bet my bigger bet on the goddamn money line at +210. I'll take 2-1 on the money line when they got a legitimate shot to win that game.
Yeah.
I did a little prop bet. I got Devonta Smith anytime touchdown +190, and I got you need to check this out, Dork, before the games. They've got a no sweat bet, max bet $5 on DraftKings.
Yeah.
They give you your $5 back if you lose.
Yeah.
So I have fun with those bets. So I took my $5 no sweat bet and I did a Washington-Houston money line at 20-1.
Oh, nice.
And then my other bet is I also said fuck it. Anything can happen. If Detroit comes out and just looks flat and has a bad game, I grabbed Washington on the money line at +370.
Okay.
If they win that fucking game, that'll be a nice little return, almost 4-1.
Okay. I like it. I'm going to look at Derrick Henry's yardage over under.
Well, what a lot of the pros were recommending is do Henry's rushing yards plus passing over, receiving over.
Oh, okay.
Rushing, receiving over.
Okay.
Do that bet.
Okay.
Rather than just rushing.
Because you think they're going to dink some passes.
Well, he's one of those guys, he can take something out in the flat and he's gone for 30.
Yep.
And so they said play that line rather than rushing strictly.
And I also, I'm going to check, this was one that paid off in last year's Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes over on the rushing yards.
Yeah, that's a popular bet.
If it turns into a dogfight, that's when he starts running.
Yep.
And if Houston's D is
do you know what that number is?
Real, I don't know.
I would guess it's between 25 and 30.
Okay, because he usually does not hit that, but when he's in the dogfight, he will run more.
Yeah, that's something to look at.
And that's about it. I haven't looked at too many other props, but I agree that Henry's going to be the guy. And
King Henry.
And if Buffalo decides to stop him, I think Lamar can make him pay. So
no doubt. It is a little minus no Zay Flowers for Baltimore's receiving group.
Oh, he's still out. Okay.
He's not playing.
Okay.
He's not practicing, so they're probably trying to save his ass for a possible Super Bowl play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching Fantasy Football with the Dork and the Dude. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And where can they find us out on the inner tubes, Dork?
Okay. You know what? I have shut down all Twitter activity.
So you can't find us
I just can't deal
on X
with
anymore.
I'm going to work on getting us on Threads, Blue Sky.
Do it.
And that sort of thing.
I was never on X, so I can't drop them.
I just can't do it anymore.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
We know why.
And iHeart, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google,
YouTube,
Spotify.
Of course.
We're on YouTube. And you know what? We got some real good games this week. Whether you gamble or not, enjoy the games.
Definitely. People got playoff pool brackets.
How's your brewery pool is still looking good, isn't it?
Well, I don't know how good. I checked this week, and there were some people with only one loss.
Oh, I'm wiped out. I mean, I got Baltimore and Detroit, but so does a lot of other people, I'm sure.
I've got the Bills over the Rams. If the Bills and the Rams end up in the Super Bowl, I'll probably win.
Basically, I needed Green Bay to beat Philly. I needed.
What were you thinking, Green Bay?
Yeah, I think
they hadn't shown it shit against good teams.
No, they haven't. But they looked last year. They backed into the playoffs.
That's last year.
And took off.
Yeah,
I thought maybe it might happen again. Yeah. And in these pools, big pools with a lot of people.
Oh, I hear you.
You gotta you got to zig when everyone zags.
Well, you know, out of a lot of people didn't turn in their brackets, and so there's only 30-something in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's only 30 of us in it, so
a
little easier.
You know what? Now there's 29.
I gotcha.
Mine's out.
Sorry, Dork, you've had a rough year. I sympathize with you, man.
Actually, I was picking pretty good until the last month or so, and then just everything went haywire.
Oh, but, any side bets that you want to maybe do before we close this shit out?
Well, do we agree on every game?
I think we kind of do.
I got Houston, Detroit, Rams, and Baltimore. That'll have to wait till next week, maybe.
We got to have some action, man. The weeks are running out here. I'll lay the points with Detroit.
You'll take the Commanders?
No, I'll lay the points with Detroit. I'll take Detroit. Oh, that's what you had to. Oh, you've got Houston here, huh?
I've got Houston. I've got Detroit.
Okay.
I've got the Rams, and I got Baltimore.
If it was an 8.5, I'd take that bet on KC.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, for $10, I'll do it. I will lay 8.5 against Houston. I'll take KC.
You're betting on KC.
I am.
Your most hated thing on earth, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Tom, this is business, and this man is taking it very, very personal.
Yep.
It's not personal, Sonny. It's strictly business.
It's strictly business, Sonny.
Okay, Michael.
Okay.
I get it.
I'm going to shoot you down again with that bet.
You know, I'm
shooting you down, Dork.
I think it's fun to have the action.
I'm Machine Gun Kelly here.
Machine Gun Kelly. Babyface Nelson, all that.
I've been watching a show. It's called Natural Born Outlaws or something.
Okay.
And they do all these crooks and stuff. And I saw Babyface Nelson's hour episode yesterday.
Oh, really? How was that?
He was a badass dude, man. He was a bad...
Those cats, they would kill and rob. And...
Oh, yeah. And the thing about Babyface was that he would get in a shootout with cops, and he would stand there and just machine gun 50, 100 rounds at the cops and shit. When they finally killed him, he actually lived initially. A couple of his girlfriend and another thug he was with got him in the car and took him to a hotel room in Chicago or something where he died. Dude lived for a few more hours. He had 17 bullet holes in him.
Really?
They shot him 17 times, and the motherfucker lived for about 3 hours.
You got to keep shooting Babyface if you're going to kill him.
That's for damn sure.
What show is that?
I think it's called Natural Born Outlaws.
And what channel is it on?
I'm not sure. You probably don't get it, Dork. I don't know.
I don't. I have Antenna TV and Netflix. That's about it.
But when I come across it, I'll message you about where it's at. Maybe you can look it up on YouTube or some shit.
I can probably find it.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks again for watching. We will see you after the divisional round, and then we'll be talking...
Next Thursday, we'll be talking championship
baby.
And maybe if the lines are out there for next year's Super Bowl, we might be talking about some of that.
They won't be out till after the Super Bowl, Dork.
Haven't they been out before then?
No, they don't lay the line till after the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, we'll be talking about that after the Super Bowl then.
Maybe some offshore betting place you can maybe get an early line and stuff. But what's the point? I usually bet most of my Super Bowl futures in March.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I like to wait till after the goddamn draft.
Now, you have the Rams going still?
I got the Rams going.
Else?
I've got the Eagles going at 7-1. I have the Rams going at 25-1 still.
Okay, I got the Rams at something. I got them back in February.
Is that all I've got left? I got no Buffalo, no Houston. Yeah, I think that's all I got left.
Okay.
All righty. Thanks again, and we'll be talking to you.
Enjoy the games.